Have you noticed how uncertain things have become lately? From extreme weather wreaking havoc on crops, to global shipping disruptions turning our supply chains into a logistical nightmare, the items we rely on every day could vanish in the blink of an eye. Changing consumer habits and unpredictable events are putting pressure on everyday groceries, and many people are starting to wonder which staples might run out first. Today we're here to uncover the truth behind these potential shortages and help you prepare before shelves go bare. This isn't about stirring up panic or encouraging hoarding. It's about staying ahead and making sure your family has what they need. When harvests fail or routes are delayed, it's often the basic necessities that disappear first. Understanding which goods are at risk can make all the difference. Want to know which 7 essential groceries you should stock up on before it's too late? Stick around as we break it all down, from the hidden causes of scarcity to how you can stay ready no matter what. Don't wait until the last minute. Knowledge is your most powerful tool. 8 salt and spices. Salt and spices are crucial ingredients that many people take for granted, yet they could soon become something of a rarity on store shelves. Salt is one of humanity's oldest and most versatile seasonings, but that doesn't mean it's safeguarded from supply chain disruptions. It's produced through 2 main methods: mining and seawater evaporation. And both are prone to challenges. Salt mines rely on skilled labor, expensive equipment, and adherence to strict environmental regulations, all of which can encounter unexpected hiccups. On the other hand, sea salt depends on climate stability, and unpredictable weather, such as heavy rains, can derail production processes. A shortage of salt might not only disrupt cooking routines, but also impact industries reliant on industrial-grade salt. When it comes to spices, the situation grows even more precarious. Popular choices like black pepper, cumin, turmeric, and paprika travel long distances, often crossing continents before reaching U.S. stores. These journeys are vulnerable to rising global shipping costs, delays at major ports, and even political instability in exporting countries. For instance, a single supply chain blockage or crop failure halfway across the world could leave you hunting in vain for your favorite spice at your local grocery store. Specialty spices such as saffron or rare peppers are particularly at risk because they often rely on smaller, localized producers, making their availability even more fragile. Beyond their ability to transform bland dishes into vibrant meals, many spices carry significant health benefits. They're not just flavor enhancers. They can offer anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, or even digestive support. Imagine losing access to these valuable pantry staples in the face of rising prices or sudden shortages caused by inflation or natural disasters. That's why experts suggest building up a stockpile of your essential spices and transferring them into airtight containers to preserve their potency. Keeping them stored away from light, heat, and humidity ensures their flavors remain bold for longer. Similarly, salt, which is inherently stable, can essentially last indefinitely if kept dry and moisture-free. Having a variety of salt types, such as iodized for daily use, kosher for cooking, or sea salt for finishing dishes, can elevate your culinary versatility. Given the instability in global markets and rising inflation, it's plausible that salt prices may spike while certain spices vanish altogether. Those exotic or niche flavors we adore are often the first to disappear when economic or environmental instability strikes. To ensure you're always prepared, consider buying your favorite seasonings in bulk now and preparing for the possibility of culinary disruptions. Trust us, when your favorite recipes are at stake, a little forethought goes a long way. 7. Peanut butter and nut spreads. Peanut butter isn't just a pantry staple, it's a go-to comfort food for millions of families, packed with protein, healthy fats, and the ability to stay fresh without refrigeration. But here's the alarming truth many don't realize. Peanut butter's future availability may not be so secure. Changes in climate and supply chain disruptions could make this beloved spread harder to find after March 2025. If peanut butter is on your grocery list, now might be the time to act. The U.S. peanut crop, a key ingredient in peanut butter, is grown largely in the southeastern regions of the country. However, erratic weather conditions, like prolonged droughts, extreme heat, and even unseasonal frosts, have increasingly plagued these farming areas. Droughts not only impact the overall peanut yield, but can also degrade the quality of the peanuts harvested. And when crop yields drop, it doesn't take long for manufacturers to face serious shortages, which in turn can lead to empty shelves at your local grocery store. But it's not just nature putting strain on peanut butter production. Rising transportation costs and truck driver shortages could also slow the distribution process, further complicating the supply chain. Almond, cashew, and hazelnut spreads may seem like good alternatives, But these spreads come with their own vulnerabilities. Many tree nuts are grown in California, a region that has been battered by drought, heat waves, and wildfires in recent years. California's waterways are a critical resource for nut growers, and any disruption there can wreak havoc on production. Add to that the potential for tightening import regulations or strained trade relations with countries exporting nuts, and suddenly even these premium nut butters may not be easy to find or affordable. But why does this matter so much? For many families, peanut butter or alternative nut butters are an essential source of protein. They're especially vital for those who don't eat meat or families with kids who rely on simple, nutrient-dense snacks. If shortages hit, those who didn't prepare could find themselves scrambling. Storing extra jars in a cool, dark pantry is a great way to ensure your family has enough. Compared to natural nut butters, commercial peanut butter often contains stabilizers, helping it stay fresh longer, making it an ideal item to stock up on now. Historically, peanut butter shortages have happened before, whether caused by bad harvest years or manufacturing bottlenecks. And when people catch wind of a potential issue, it's common for panic buying to clear shelves almost overnight. Remember the 2011 peanut butter price spike? Something like that could happen again, only worse. The time to act is now. If predictions hold true with continued unpredictable weather and global uncertainties through 2025, peanut butter and other nut spreads might see another shortage that's hard to overcome. 6. Honey and maple syrup. Natural sweeteners like honey and maple syrup are more than just delicious additions to your pantry. They're packed with unique benefits and steeped in cultural heritage. But worrying trends indicate they could become much harder to find after March 2025, making now the best time to stock up. Honey production in the U.S. faces serious challenges as beekeepers struggle with colony collapses caused by pesticides, parasitic mites, and habitat loss. Simply put, fewer healthy bee colonies mean less honey entering the market. Additionally, unpredictable shifts in temperature and rainfall reduce nectar flow from plants, leaving bees with less to work with and further impacting honey yields. Maple syrup isn't immune to nature's whims either. This sweet golden staple comes mostly from the northeastern United States, where it depends on very specific weather conditions. For optimal sap flow, producers need freezing nights followed by warmer days in late winter and early spring. Unfortunately, climate change is throwing these conditions out of balance. Warmer than usual winters and erratic temperature swings shorten the tapping season, tightening supply and leaving small-scale producers struggling to predict how much syrup they can deliver each year. When supply dwindles, the impact on consumers is immediate. Prices for pure maple syrup spike sharply, and in some cases, grocery stores may fill empty shelves with corn syrup-based substitutes. For those who prefer the real deal, shortages can feel like losing touch with a piece of tradition. The same applies to honey, which stands out as a healthier alternative to refined sugar, but will be increasingly difficult to find if production continues to falter. The good news? Both honey and maple syrup are long-lasting if stored properly. Honey, known for its indefinite shelf life, can crystallize over time, but reviving it is as simple as placing the jar in warm water. For maple syrup, unopened containers last years, though once opened, you should refrigerate it to extend its freshness. If these natural sweeteners play a big role in your life, whether for baking, sweetening coffee, or adding flavor to desserts, consider adding a few extra jars or bottles to your pantry now. When demand skyrockets and prices soar, you'll be thankful to have these essential items on hand, ensuring you don't get stuck paying through the nose for inferior alternatives. 5. Instant coffee and tea. For millions of adults, mornings don't truly begin until that first cup of coffee or tea. These caffeinated staples are two of the most loved and traded commodities in the world. But did you know they're under serious threat? Climate change is already wreaking havoc on coffee-growing regions like Brazil, Colombia, and Vietnam. Extreme temperatures, unpredictable rainfall, and pests are all eroding crop yield. Simply put, less coffee is being harvested, and that means smaller exports to market. For tea, shifting monsoon patterns in countries like India are causing similar disruptions, threatening the supply of this beloved drink. But that's not all. Supply chain issues like political tensions or shipping delays can create bottlenecks, making the movement of green coffee beans slower and costlier. If you think this only affects higher-end coffee, think again. Instant coffee, which is processed on a massive scale, depends on specialized equipment, consistent ingredient sources, and steady packaging materials. If any part of this production chain breaks down or costs skyrocket, manufacturers may have no choice but to slow operations, leading to higher prices or empty shelves. Tea drinkers, you're not entirely off the hook either. While loose-leaf tea and tea bags generally store well, exposure to light or moisture can cause flavor degradation, leaving you with a less satisfying cup. What does this mean for 2025? Experts warn that by March, extreme weather in top-growing regions could lead to patchy coffee harvests. Your go-to brand? It might become hard to find or a luxury item due to price hikes. Tea could also become scarce for similar reasons. To stay ahead of the curve, consider picking up an extra jar of instant coffee or a few extra boxes of tea. These simple items can be a source of comfort during uncertain times. If power outages become a concern, instant coffee could save the day since it dissolves even in lukewarm water, no fancy machines needed. Want a backup for whole beans? A manual coffee grinder paired with a French press is a solid option, provided you have access to potable hot water. These caffeine fixes might not be as essential as staple foods or water, but they go a long way in preserving a sense of normalcy when everything feels upside down. Don't wait until your morning ritual gets disrupted. Plan ahead now. 4. Sugar. The sugar supply chain is under growing pressure, and experts are sounding the alarm about potential shortages you need to prepare for. Extreme weather events, labor challenges, and shifting global demand are creating a volatile landscape for this essential pantry staple. Did you know that major sugar-producing regions in the U.S., like Louisiana for sugarcane and the Midwest for sugar beets, have been battling everything from destructive storms to worsening droughts? These environmental challenges are threatening crop yields, and when less sugar is produced, it means less sugar on the shelves for you and me. But it's not just Mother Nature causing trouble. Add global trade tensions into the mix. These could disrupt raw sugar imports and drive up the price of refined sugar significantly. On top of that, transportation issues like a nationwide truck driver shortage or rising fuel costs are further increasing distribution expenses. Some industry insiders are warning that come March 2025, finding sugar at your local store might become an uphill battle. And here's why that matters. Sugar is more than just something you sprinkle into your coffee. It's a critical ingredient in countless products like baked goods, candies, fruit preserves, beverages, condiments, and sauces. If manufacturers struggle to get enough sugar, we could even see shortages of processed foods that depend on it. When supplies tighten, prices tend to skyrocket, leaving many scrambling to stock up. To avoid being caught off guard, now's the time to store sugar. Here's a tip. Keep it in airtight containers in a cool, dry place, and it can last almost indefinitely without losing its quality. And if you want to hedge your bets, you could also consider diversifying your sweetener options with products like stevia or agave nectar. Though sugar remains the go-to for traditional recipes. For households that bake regularly or small food-based businesses, a declining sugar supply could spell trouble. Stocking up moderately now is a smart move to sidestep the frantic rush when shortages hit. Plus, sugar could even serve as a valuable bartering item in extreme situations. Don't wait for the grocery store shelves to empty. Act today and secure this indispensable ingredient. 3. Bottled water. When disaster strikes or unexpected crises hit, one item seems to vanish from store shelves instantly: bottled water. It's not just about convenience. Bottled water has become a lifeline for many in moments of uncertainty. Even though tap water is widely available across the United States, concerns about aging infrastructure and water contamination push people toward prepackaged water. Issues like lead, PFAS chemicals, and other pollutants can seep into tap water, especially in areas with older pipelines or inconsistent water treatment systems. These concerns lead more and more households to stock up on bottled water, especially before an anticipated crisis. Natural disasters can amplify this demand dramatically. When hurricanes, floods, or wildfires disrupt municipal water supplies, people rush to purchase cases of bottled water, leading to empty shelves in a matter of hours. If multiple events strike simultaneously, say a flood in one part of the country and severe drought in another, bottling companies and distribution networks struggle to keep up with skyrocketing demand. The Environmental Protection Agency has also warned that regions across the U.S. could experience diminishing groundwater levels, possibly restricting how much water bottling companies can extract. This could lead to shortages, higher prices, and even sourcing water from farther away, adding more strain to an already stretched system. If you're preparing for 2025, experts are already raising concerns about increased weather volatility, making it harder to maintain reliable water supplies. Emergency preparedness guides often advise keeping at least a 2-week supply of bottled water for every family member, but storing bottled water has its own challenges. Did you know that bottled water has a recommended shelf life? Prolonged storage, especially under warm conditions, can lead to leaching of chemicals from the plastic packaging. However, if stored properly in a cool, dark place, commercially sealed water bottles can safely last a couple of years. For those looking for alternatives, investing in refillable water containers paired with a high-quality water filtration system might minimize reliance on single-use bottles. Still, most people feel more secure knowing they have prepackaged, ready-to-use water on hand for an emergency. And given how quickly supplies dwindle during widespread crises, it's clear why bottled water is one of the most critical items to stock up on now, before volatility increases in 2025. When safe fresh water becomes limited, it's not just a luxury, it's a necessity. Get ahead of these potential shortages and secure your family supply today. 2. Dehydrated fruits and vegetables. Stocking up on dehydrated fruits and vegetables is like investing in compact bursts of nutrition and flavor. Products like dried apples, apricots, raisins, and even dehydrated tomatoes are easy to store, versatile, and incredibly handy for snacking, camping, or cooking. These shelf-stable goods pack essential vitamins and minerals, making them a smart alternative to fresh produce, especially when you want something that lasts longer without relying on refrigeration. However, the future availability of these dried goods is anything but guaranteed. Climate changes, including more frequent heat waves, droughts, and unpredictable storms, have already disrupted harvests in major agricultural regions like California and the Pacific Northwest. Smaller yields, uneven fruit ripening, and reduced harvest windows make raw fruits and vegetables harder to secure for dehydration. Labor shortages add to the issue. Without enough workers to pick fresh produce at its peak, some crops simply go to waste in the fields. But the challenges don't stop there. Even if crops make it to the production phase, manufacturers face supply chain hurdles. Delays in trucking, shipping cost increases, or logistical bottlenecks can cause late arrivals of dried goods or drive up prices. Since dehydration facilities rely on a consistent flow of fresh produce, any farm-level hiccup can ripple through the entire process. Add the competition with fresh markets, where soaring demand further increases the cost of fruits and vegetables, and it becomes clear why these items might be harder to come by. For those wondering whether they can take matters into their own hands, home dehydration is an option. Countertop dehydrators or oven methods allow individuals to preserve their own produce for future use. But this approach can require a lot of prep work, electricity, and time, making it difficult to reliably scale up for household needs. To make the most of store-bought dehydrated goods, proper storage is key. Vacuum-sealed bags, airtight containers, or additions like desiccant packs can extend shelf life and protect flavor. Keep them in a cool, dark space to prevent humidity and sunlight from speeding up spoilage. When fresh produce becomes scarce, or if the cost shoots up, these dried products will prove invaluable as a nutrient-packed addition to your pantry. Make sure to grab them now before the supply crunch truly sets in. 1. Canned soups and stews. Canned soups and stews are a pantry hero for many households, providing a quick and hearty meal in just a few minutes. These staples pack a variety of ingredients, meat, vegetables, grains, and seasonings, into one convenient product, but their availability is more fragile than you might think. A shortage in just one key ingredient can disrupt the entire production process, leading to empty shelves. Meat shortages, which could be triggered by issues like animal disease outbreaks or skyrocketing feed costs, can make some soup varieties vanish completely. Similarly, bad weather across farming regions, whether harsh storms in the Midwest or droughts on the West Coast, can lead to a reduction in vegetable supply, limiting options for vegetable-based soups and stews. Even the packaging isn't immune to disruptions. Metal shortages or price spikes for cans can drive up production costs, forcing manufacturers to limit their packaging or increase prices. Many soups rely on imported ingredients like lentils, barley, or exotic spices, and with global trade becoming more uncertain, supply chains could tighten. Companies would then face a tough choice of reformulating recipes or cutting back on production altogether. Demand for canned soups tends to surge during certain times of the year, especially cooler months, when people crave warm, ready-to-eat foods. Extreme weather events like hurricanes or blizzards further amplify this demand as consumers rush to stockpile essentials. If regions across the country are hit by harsh winters or disasters, don't be surprised to see store shelves wiped clean of your favorite soups. Experts predict that by March 2025, supply chain vulnerabilities like trucker shortages, rising raw material costs, and even energy price hikes will make these challenges even worse. You might notice fewer flavor options, higher prices, or entire sections of canned soups that have gone missing. For many, the convenience of cracking open a can and having a meal ready in minutes is a lifesaver, especially during crisis situations like power outages or fresh food delivery delays. If you're planning to stock up for emergencies, focus on buying soups and stews you genuinely enjoy. It's also important to rotate your stockpile by using these items in your everyday meals to avoid throwing away expired cans. Store them in a cool, dry place to prevent rust and spoilage. A good supply of canned soups and stews can ensure you're never caught without something quick, warm, and satisfying to eat. More than just a meal. These products are sensitive to market forces, and their availability is deeply tied to the unpredictability of weather, trade, and supply. By preparing now, you can avoid the stress of seeing empty shelves and astronomical prices later. Are you prepared for the grocery shortages coming after March 2025? With climate changes, economic shifts, and soaring consumer demand shaping supply chains like never before, it's time to take action. A single storm, sudden rise in transport costs, or reduced harvests could trigger empty shelves and skyrocketing prices in an instant. The question is, will you be ready? Stockpiling isn't about panic buying or hoarding massive quantities of food. It's about being smart and strategic with your purchases. Essential items like sugar, salt, and spices are core staples that can make even the simplest meals flavorful. Bottled water ensures hydration during emergencies, while peanut butter, nut spreads, and canned soups or stews serve as easy and nutritious options. Don't forget long-lasting items like honey, maple syrup, dehydrated fruits, vegetables, instant coffee, and tea. These essentials allow you to maintain a sense of normalcy no matter the circumstances. The key is to buy what you already consume, stock moderately, and label products with purchase dates so you can rotate them seamlessly into your daily meals. By planning ahead, not only will you avoid the stress of last-minute shortages, but you'll also preserve your peace of mind. Take action now, so when the shelves run empty, you'll already have what you need. Preparedness isn't just smart, it's essential.